Hi there folks, welcome to Dunsies Guitar World 2. Welcome to another guitar lesson for another monster metal riff. This time the band is Malice, the album is Licensed to Kill, and this is the title track. This is the main riff that goes on in the song. I'll maybe do a bit of the verse riff as well, but there's a lot in this song. So this album was released, according to the internet, on the 12th of January 1987. I'm sure I saw them supporting Slayer on their UK tour at that point in time. So anyway, this tuning in this song is slightly sharp. It's almost up to F. So I have tuned my guitar to match the studio version. So I will give you the notes. And I'll just say the names of the strings as they normally are, but they're actually up quite a bit. So the bottom string, A string, D string, G string. Now you're not going to be using the top two strings in this because we're only doing the main riff. We're doing any lead work on this. But this is the B and E. So what I'll do is I'll play through it one time so you can see what we're going to learn, or so you can hear and see what we're going to learn, and then I'll show you the easy way of how I think you play this, because like all my lessons, this is just how I think a song goes. I'm not saying this is how it goes, but this is how I think it goes. So I'll play through it first. And that is the main riff and the first half of the verse. So as I said, we are tuned slightly sharp here. There's a lot of palm muting on what would be the A string, but the tuning is... So I don't know how much you know about palm muting. I'm assuming a little bit. So really what you're having to do is the fleshy bit of your hand there, you're keeping pushed on the strings just ahead of where your saddles are, and you're really sort of dampening the string. So without dampening, with dampening. And when you're playing the chords, so what the pedal tone is the A, and then when we're playing the chords in this song, you take the dampening off, so it's like... like that. So that's a very, very quick explanation of dampening the string. So the first thing we do, 2 hits on the A with palm muting, just like that. And then we go to the 7th fret of the D and G, 1 hit there, and then we stay on the 7th fret of the D, but we move down to the 6th fret of the G. So we're going back to play the pedal tone before we play the second one. So slowly it sounds like this. Then we move that whole thing down and play 5, D and G, and then 5 of D, 4 of G. Again, we're going back to this palm muted A. Just like that. That's Tommy Cooper said. So again, slowly. Now what we do is we go down and we play a quick da-da-dun. That's how I kind of learn things. Rhythm wise, you sort of say it, da-da-dun. So in context. So that is the first measure. It only does that once. I was just playing it 4 times there to show you. So the first one, and then I'll go into the second one. So we start it again, the same as the first one. 7 of D and G, and then 7 of D, 6 of G. This time we go to this, what would be like a G chord, 5 of D, 7 of G, and then we take that, there's my cat crying in the background there, take that down to 4 of D, but we stay on 7 of G. So all together that goes. And then we move down to 3 of the D, 5 of the G, and then down to 1 of the D, we're still playing 5 of the G, if that all makes sense. So we'll play that second one slowly. Finish it like that. So all together, those two parts, slowly. So at the beginning of the song, it plays all that, then the whole band come in and play that, but it ends slightly differently before we go to the verse. So before we go into the verse, we play those two parts again. So it's a series of single notes on the A string, and then down to 3 on the bottom E string, pull off to E. So it's 3, 2, 3, 5, and then on the A string, and then 3 of the E string, pull off to an E. So, and we're into the verse. So I'll play that in context. So we hit the bottom E string and leave that open, and then we're using the E string as a pedal tone for this part of the verse. So the first two chords are killer, so it goes. That's like something Dawkins would do, George Lynch. So it's just like the bottom E pedal tone, bottom E string, 7 of A, 9 of D. Play that twice, and then take the 9th fret of the D down to the 8th fret, but keep playing the 7th fret of the A string and the bottom E, so it's that chord. Nice, eh? Go back to the E, and then we do this. So what that is, I play these sort of partial chords, camera's going to focus here, 5 of D and G over to 7 of D and G, back to 5 of D and G, and then 7 of D and G, pull off to 5 D and G, 7 D and G, 9 D and G, if that makes sense. Take us back. So the fourth one in the verse goes back to that single note. And then that's into the pre-chorus. So there you go. I think you will agree that that is a monster metal riff. Even my little cat, maybe here in the background, they're screaming for metal. So that was the main two guitar riffs. It's not even just a monster metal riff. It's monster metal riffs all in the one lesson. So as I say, I think that's how it goes. That's how I would play it if Malice reformed and phoned me to come and play some amateur rhythm guitar. That is how I would turn up and play it, perhaps not on a Telecaster, but it is a very nice Telecaster nonetheless. As ever, folks, it's a privilege and a pleasure bringing you content on Dunsi's Guitar World 2. Cheers for now.